Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Late Winner Show. Big news for Chelsea. And I mean, I never thought in my entire life that I would see something like this. Even though I am a United fan, I am deep inside. I feel like why isn't this happening to United? Because I really desperately want my owners to leave the club. but but the club who has who's been built by this Russian giant, he's announced that he will be selling the club. He doesn't want to fast track the process. He wants to go through the entire process, and he doesn't want Chelsea to be involved. That's why he gave he gave this full statement to the press. He never comes out and says anything in public, but when he came out and said something like this, like we were all shocked when Roman Abramovich told all this. So we're here to discuss all that, like what happens, what does this statement mean, what does now happen to Chelsea, what's the future for Chelsea. Does Chelsea play in Championship now against with Norwich and go back and forth between Championship and Premier League clubs? That was just a joke. Don't unsubscribe to my channel. but but yeah, like all those things, and then obviously we have the biggest game in world football. Yeah, to be like one of the biggest games in world football right now. Maybe not that much based on how United are playing, but we have the Manchester derby on Sunday, and then we're going to look ahead of to some games in the Premier League coming this week as well. So I have Uday from the Loudmouth Show. How are you doing, Uday?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Doing good, man. Yeah, thanks for asking, and thank you for coming on the show.
For sure. I think such an unprecedented world crisis has occurred, so we are bound to have a good discussion on this.
Yeah, definitely. Do before you do may proceed into the discussions, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Late Winner Show, and give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter as well. We do keep posting a lot of stuff about just world football and various news and some football related posts as well. But let's just get into this, man. Like obviously, I don't really need to read out the entire statement. I think most of us know what Roman has said. But what were your first thoughts when this came out?
My first thoughts upon seeing this was that I didn't. I sort of expected this to happen somewhere because we knew that the UK government is giving sanctions to different Russian businessmen after what Putin did with Ukraine.
Yeah,
But I feel yeah, this was uncalled for, especially with the way the MPs were trying to batter things against Roman Abramovich, knowing that he is one of the the most successful football owners who's shown his passion in the Premier League, and every club, English club, knows that. And it's kind of surprising that he didn't receive a warm, support from the UK government, irrespective of his nationality. But yeah, he's been linked with different political affiliations. He's been protected by mobsters, as per the British MP Chris Bryant.
hmm
But yeah, I think there's more to the story, and even though the case is not completely in water, but I still feel they don't really have anything against Abramovich, and I think uh, he's taken a good decision by putting the club up for sale. This is the right opportunity and the right way to garner support and sympathy in the future.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think I remember. I think I was watching the game between Everton and City when the news broke that he was going to hand over the club to its stewardship, and then I think a couple of days later or 3 days later, I think he announced that he's going to sell Chelsea, and it was just mind boggling. Like I never, and I tweeted this word, like I never thought about, like this was gonna come along ever, at least until I was alive. But I was shocked. I was super shocked on what happened. But I mean, uh, given what you said, like given what is happening in the world, the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, obviously there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things that a lot of sports foundations are doing, protecting the Ukrainians, and obviously telling, like, Russians that we're not going to come and actually play with you. So I think FIFA and UEFA obviously did that.
Yeah.
Even I think, if I look at other sports as well, I think Formula One announced, FIA announced that they were not going to go to Russia to have a F1 race this season. Even in tennis, I think a lot of players, they I think one of the players came out and said that, yeah, do not go to Russia to play any of the tournaments this season, because what's been happening. But what does now this mean for Chelsea? Like, does it impact, the transfer budget for them? Does it impact, like, how, obviously we all know, like, how successful Roman was. Like, even if his antics were, a lot of people might feel like, his antics were incorrect. Like, why did he have to sack so many managers in the last, 17, 18 years since he's been at the club? But hey, the tactic works. We can't really complain. He sacked Lampard, and he sacked and got the Champions League, right? That he wanted. He brings the trophies that the club wants. That's his business model, and that's how he does it. But now we're thinking, we're seeing that, there's been business offers are presented. I think one of the other, like, there's a Swiss billionaire, Viss or Weiss. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's coming into the picture, that, he might come in and actually buy Chelsea. But what do you yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I relate to what you've said, but in a way, I would say that Chelsea will definitely, indefinitely, never get a manager, sorry, owner of this kind, because of the passion that he had, the commitment that he gave to the club, and expected from the managers in return. I don't think this is ever going to happen. But yeah, nice comment. I like it when people comment on our live shows. Anyways, yeah, so getting back to the point, yeah, I think Abramovich, you won't find a manager like him, to be honest, because he won you around 21 titles in a matter of 19 years. That's all.
Yes.
I think he's been one of the most successful English owners of all time, and I think because of him, Chelsea have been riding the stride on the number eight um, in world football, in terms of the most successful clubs in the world. And also, if you look at the trajectory that this businessman has had, he was already well established in the Russian Federation, and from there on, he stepped into the UK and planned to explore in the world of football, right? And it was a very thought of, it was a decision which was made after a lot of consideration. It wasn't something which he thought of with spontaneity. So I still feel you will not, even though there are so many speculations with Pakistani billionaires, Russian billionaires, and even Swiss people and the Americans coming in for with the 3 billion bid. I don't think these people are passionate for the sport. They might just end up with owners like the FSG, the Fenway Sports Group, or what we make of the Gunners, owners of the Gunners. So I think, yeah, it's just going to be it's kind of very sad for the supporters, because I don't think they'll be seeing any short-term success like Roman proclaimed for them and the way he showcased for them. His dismissal of managers was something which was again very harsh, but again, his expectations to win trophy back to back is is a sort of a testament to what happened last season as well. They're Champions League holders. They are FIFA World Cup, Club World Cup holders. Yeah, they've been winning competitions back to back. So I think he's done an amazing job, and I as a Liverpool supporter will miss him as well. So, but
Yeah, I
what are your
mean,
thoughts?
I'm going to miss him as well. Like, again, as I said, like, with all the antics that, we always speak about, like, we did a show when Lampard was sacked. Like, we were very angry, and we were very sad that, he sacked Lampard. But that's what I said. Like, it's his antics that, his decisions that actually get the club forward. Like, moving
Yeah,
forward. Like, it worked for a brief period. He did well, and then it did not, and then it was time for him to go. That's how he operated, and he has been successful in that. No doubt in that, and he will be missed. He definitely will be missed. Right now, he has said that, yeah, he wants to sell Chelsea, but it's not done yet. Anything can happen in the next month, 2 months or so. He's not decided. He's obviously told that, it's not going to be fast track. He wants to go through the proper process. If I'm hearing that correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ankit as well, who's watching our show. But
yeah,
I think he wants to sell the club for £3 billion.
yeah,
Well, I don't really think that, that might be really possible. Realistically, I don't think that's possible. I think Manchester United shares on New York Stock Exchange are about, what, 2 billion worth of shares.
yeah,
I feel, and I'm not bringing United into this conversation, so don't take it any in any other sense. But Yeah, but I think United are definitely a much bigger club than Chelsea. So if United
Yeah,
shares
for
are
sure.
2 billion worth, we have more fans than Chelsea fans, right? So I think United would be, much better. Like would have to be a much better. Bigger club, and that has to also be looked at. Like you can't say that it's just 3 billion worth that he's putting it, and that's how he's going to be sold. You
Yeah.
look at the situation that has been going on. To be honest, like, does waiting actually help to anyone who's looking to buy a club? I think if this Russian situation of invasion of Ukraine wouldn't have happened, and Abramovich came out and said, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to sell Chelsea because I don't really want to be part of this
Yeah.
anymore." There would be a queue outside Stamford Bridge. There would be people who would be willing to meet Abramovich and be like, "You know what? I really want to buy it," and maybe he can get the money that he wants at that time. At this moment in time, we have to look at all these other things politically. What is going to happen if I'm just a owner? I'm going to have to look at it like, is this the best situation that I want? Is this the situation that I want to be in?
Yeah.
Because now it's associated now this Russian thing is associated with Chelsea as well. So can you get a bigger better deal than if you wait? Like, if you keep waiting, and Abramovich has nothing other than just to accept whatever he's getting, he will have to accept it. But yeah, what do you think on that?
I agree with you completely, but as you mentioned already, it's just a bonus when you have a owner like Abramovich managing the club. It's a plus one, right? I'm not doubting Chelsea's unforeseen success in the future as well. I think they might be successful. They might be a better team in the future. But I think if you have an owner who's well-rounded, who understands the philosophy of the club, like Roman Abramovich did, you are bound to have a plus one. So yeah, I think that's just something which Chelsea will be missing out on for a couple of years. But I still feel that Chelsea as a squad are a very very great rich squad. They've got a lot of depth, and they still need to maybe again season on season they have had problems in the second half always in terms of being clinical, trying to make those a huge score line. But Havertz I think has already proven everyone wrong. He's turned out to be one of their best number false nines, and he's been given starts ahead of Lukaku. So I think Chelsea overall are still going to, yeah, they're going to feature in the top four always. I think in the next 5 6 years very easily. I can definitely give you that in writing. So yeah, I think that's just what we're facing because of what Putin has done is extremely sad, and it was very unprecedented. No one would have expected another war to be unleashed in the
Yeah.
coming times, but yeah, I think to end this saga, I think I would like to say that this is indefinitely going to happen. That Abramovich might take a few weeks to sell the club, but you never know. You should just keep a watch out for other people who are trying to give their bids because I heard that he was okay with the 2 billion bid as well, but people are
Hmm.
actually lashing out more money because they are desperate to buy the club, knowing that what fortunes the club can get on a short term basis. So I think yeah,
Do you?
Abramovich has made the right decision.
Yeah. And Ankit, I'll get to your question in a minute, but I have to ask this. Do you think like the Saudi consortium is now ruining the fact that if we would have waited at least 4 months, we would have gotten Chelsea and not really have to build a club right from scratch and actually try to avoid relegation, which I think now they will.
Yeah,
But actually get a club like Chelsea who has the history now for almost, let's say they have a legacy now.
yeah,
It's been running for 20 years. As you mentioned, they've already won 21 trophies under Abramovich.
yeah.
Do you think that they would be kicking themselves now?
In a way, yeah, they might be. But if you see the situation, they bought a club which was on the verge of getting relegated.
Yeah.
So if you see in the long run, the fan base, the money, the revenue that they'll be generating from the fan base, from the tickets, from different merchandise will be more than what Chelsea will be getting because Chelsea is already earning a lot from that.
Hmm.
Newcastle wasn't because of the way they've been playing. But this is um, an angel in the form of Eddie Howe has shown them the right track, and with these mature players who have been induced in their regime, they're performing so well, man. They've been playing so well. I've seen each and every match in the past couple of game weeks, and I'm totally impressed by how the Magpies are, running down the flanks, and they've been crossing amazingly. Especially Ryan Fraser and even Matt Target for that matter. They've been decimating defenses like anything, and we have never seen this from Newcastle ever since Alan Shearer's reign. So I think this is a massive step up for the owners as well. So I totally agree. This can actually go both ways. I think, yeah, they might be resenting the fact that they could have bought Chelsea as well, but I think the valuation for the club for which they bought was a little lower than what Chelsea's at, right? So they're, in a way, they've saved a lot of money also, and plus the growth that they're going to induce in Newcastle is going to be much better than what they'll be at Chelsea, because Chelsea are already a very high premium club. So I don't think they'll be disappointed with the decision.
Yeah, and and I was going to come to that question, which which Ankit already brought up. Like, while we are self-sustaining thanks to the assets, including academy loan players, my concern is immediate, as Aspilicueta, Rudiger, Jorginho may all leave in the summer unless a new regime takes over soon and sorts it. I
Hmm.
completely agree with you, and I was going to bring this point up as well. Like, what if Abramovich isn't able to sell the club in a timely manner? What if the new owners take time to come in? What if the new owners aren't that ambitious as Abramovich was, to to push Chelsea forward, to put Chelsea on the map, to put to compete, to have Chelsea compete on all fronts in every season, right?
Yeah.
Abramovich is not going to put money in the summer transfer window. It is not. With the announcement, what Ankit correctly pointed out, players might be like, this is the right time to leave. What about Lukaku? He's like, yeah, I already told you that I'm going to leave Inter, so I'm already
Yeah.
out. I'm already one step. My foot is already one step out of the club.
Yeah.
But what do you have to? What yeah, it's a tough situation to be in, and that's why, like, I was joking about it, but, like, you never know that they might be going back and forth between championships.
Well, that was a good one, but we also know how plastic the Chelsea fans are. So I think they'll be throwing a lot of plastic at the new owners if they self-inflict their performance. I think they'll be facing doomsday if they don't perform well under the new owners, and obviously we'll get to know the intentions of the new owners. And jokes apart, I think, yeah, Chelsea have a great fan base, and they'll be very disappointed. I think the outroar that will be received upon poor performances will be more than what we've seen from the old supporters at Old Trafford, because Chelsea have been winning titles since 2005, ever since Mourinho stepped up for them, right, from Porto. But United have been struggling since the past 11, 12 years. So I think that will reflect a lot on how the fans will take this. So obviously, I think, but I don't see this happening, to be honest. I think Chelsea will do well. The owners might change, but the team performances will still be on the peak.
For
And
Thomas
I
Tuchel.
think your window is a little stuck, but yeah, nonetheless.
Yeah, so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Yeah. Lastly, I just wanted to ask, like, what does this mean for Thomas Tuchel? I mean, I mean, if the new owners come in, I think as far as I know, like, his personality, he's not going to run out of this situation. I think he would like to stay here up until his contract is over. I think up until about 2024 or so. So he would definitely be staying at the club. But if you never know, like, when the new owners come in, they want their own person to be the manager. They want, yeah, I want Jose Mourinho, or I want this person. I'm just, like, blabbering names out,
Mm.
but whoever they want as the manager, they would like them to be the manager, like, beginning of the regime. But why wouldn't you want Thomas Tuchel? Like, he's definitely brought club a little forward compared to what was under Thomas Tuchel. He won the what was under Frank Lampard. He's already won the Champions League. He's already won the Club World Cup. Not sure, obviously he's not going to win the Premier League this season, but he's still in the hunt for Champions League and another Champions League again. I think he's still in the FA Cup, I guess. Yeah, he's still in the FA Cup. So, and he lost out in, like another bizarre, one of the most bizarre penalty shootouts, right? I
Yeah.
saw against Liverpool. So he's making still Chelsea compete on all fronts. So why wouldn't you want to keep him?
The thing is that if the new owners come in, they will not remove Thomas Tuchel because of the successes that have come under him, and he's a proven manager, first of all. Secondly, even if there is a rift between the owners and the manager, that is going to happen in the months once the new owners are instated, right? It won't happen immediately. That will happen if the owners are misers and they are not that. big spenders like Abramovich is, then obviously Tuchel will be on the downside. He'll be disappointed with the ownership. So this can bounce anyways, and Tuchel needs to be very well informed of what is happening with the management and with the club. But in a way, he'll be taking a sigh of relief as well, because we know how Abramovich can be very skeptical and uncertain in terms of dismissing managers if they don't win trophies, if they don't win the Premiership. Um, if Abramovich would have managed this season as well, I think he would have expected Tuchel to win the Premiership this season. Um, so yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. Time will tell who the new owners will be, what will happen to the West London club, and yeah, I think let's just see, wait and watch what happens.
Yeah, yeah, definitely some interesting times, coming ahead. May and dark times maybe for Chelsea fans, because they obviously are under, they don't, like, nobody knows right now like what's going to happen.
Yeah,
It might be that everything is resolved and he might not want to be he might not want to sell the club, like anything, and like nothing happens from here. He did have to announce this because of obviously the things that are happening from the country Russia. But yeah, we will see. Do keep commenting on our live chats, and keep commenting on our YouTube channel as well, if you have any thoughts on this situation as well. What do you think, what the future lies ahead for Chelsea? But let's move ahead actually and look at the weekend's games. um we did want to talk about the United game, so I'll change the picture. Let's not talk about any more Chelsea, but this club,
yeah.
this club should be sold. This is the club that should be sold right now. But yeah, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But man, I'm, as a United fan, like, I'm just super disappointed with all the performances that have been happened. I went on to every show when Rani came in, and I'm like, he's gonna bring a sense of tactics, some stability, some football into the club. We saw that against Crystal Palace in the first game. We saw some pressing. We were like, okay, yeah, good times ahead. Good times never came, to be honest. Never came. It was just about just attacks, and never having to be able to finish. We saw that against Watford. It could have been 1-0, when Ronaldo could have actually buried the ball into the back of the net and it hit the post. He could have had a 2-0 where his, like, almost the shirt sleeve was just offside, and that could have been 2-0. Bruno, if he could have squared the ball to Ronaldo, that could have been 3-0. Elanga missed just another opportunity um, right after the halftime break. That could have been 4-0. So I can keep counting, and we could go to 8-0. But obviously the game ended 0-0. And
Yeah.
I, as a United fan, I'm scared of this upcoming run of fixtures that we are having. I'm scared. It might just be another 5-0, 6-0 drubbing that we might get from City, and then comes Tottenham, and then comes Liverpool, and then I think, oh sorry, and in between that, there is a match between with Atletico. It can be a torrid month. To be very frank, it can be a torrid month, and I'm really scared. The one thing that I'm like taking a positive from, I just feel that it might not be. We might lose games, but we might not lose games like in a manner where we are shambolic and we don't perform in the games. I think either we lose and we're just going to go all out attack, and we're going to hit the players, hit the opponents as well. It's not just going to be sit at the back, and I don't think like that's how Ranick is going to play in any of the games. And I think we might get some opportunities if you've looked at City's and Liverpool's games itself. If you trouble them, if you go and hit them on the counter, or just attack them, they kind of they have a disbalance. But the finishing is definitely not there. Do you feel like United has any chance against City in the upcoming weekend's game?
Look, Manchester derbies are very interesting to watch always. It's always gone either this way or that way, and it's not that City have dominated the Manchester derbies.
Hmm.
They've lost the last to last, I think, game. The League Cup, they lost in the League Cup. They lost in the Premier League match in 2021. As of late, they won the game in November by 2-0. But again, I'd like to comment on the fact that in derby games, anything can happen because of the 12th man, because of the pressure that they have from the crowd sitting in the stadium. and also from how their arch rivals, even though City was a small club at one point of time, but if you look at them right now, they are punching above their weight. If you have seen what happened to them in 2008, 2009, when Stephen Ireland used to play for the team, they've
Agreed.
definitely punched above their weight since then, even though it was all because of money, whatever it was. Um, but coming down to the situation that is there with Ralf Ragnick at the moment, I think to be honest, he's improved the squad a lot. He worked on the defensive issues. He's worked on the midfield a bit. He's worked on the creativity. The problem now is what we saw against Watford was you had 22 shots and you took three. You only had three on target, and that too you couldn't convert any. So conversion is a problem. A striker like Ronaldo is already past his peak. Physically, he's not inept to the Premier League anymore. I feel that's my opinion. You shouldn't have bought Ronaldo. Edison Cavani went waste. Ronaldo came in. His game time went for a six. He didn't get enough game time on the pitch. Missed those minutes. Started getting injuries again. So there's also this um, tangent on there's a certain tangent on which the players need a lot of game time to stay fit as well, and he didn't get that game time, right, because of which he has consistently been injured. He just played 7 games, I think, this season for United.
Yes.
Um, Other than that, I think your youth prospects like Ilanga is the only person who's gotten that opportunity, but you guys have mostly relied on the likes of senior players and players who are big money signings. Unlike, I think if Lukaku would have been bought at this time by United, you guys would have been just playing him instead of Havertz, you know. So you see where how different the club is from Chelsea. Chelsea is not relying on the likes of Lukaku anymore, despite being the most expensive signing in the history of the club, whatever it is. Um, Also, there's another point I would like to mention is that ball retention around the final third and hold up play is where you guys are lacking. You need to induce recycling in those transitions. You even if you're attacking, all four players are ahead. Ilanga, Bruno, Pogba, Ronaldo, they're all ahead. They should have waited. They should have holded up. They knew that they will be defending tight. Just play the ball in the center. Just play it. Just keep the possession and try to find gaps. That will only come if you hold the ball for a minute or two. Ronaldo couldn't hold the ball at all. He was struggling in creating chances. Whatever chances he created, he couldn't shoot them. Hit the post. It hit the post once. Elanga missed an opportunity. Bruno missed an opportunity. Pogba tried his best as well from the left attacking mid position. I think creativity was there in the first half, a lot of it. But I mean, in the second half, you guys weren't as good as what you were in the first half. So I think,
Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's been the issue for a long time. Like every game against these minnows that we play, we're like
yeah,
we're at home against Brighton, we're at home against Southampton, we're at home against Watford. We should be winning these games easily, 3-0, 4-0, with the attacking talent that we have, right? Forget the defensive performance. I'm not going to even come to the defensive side, but we have the attacking talent to score when we came and when the game against Leeds, exactly that's the response that I want, like on in every game when you
yeah,
were, and I really felt at that game that we've lost it. United have always played a game on a or like on a half basis, right? So they play good for the first half, then they don't play for the good for the rest of the half, right? And I felt like, yeah, when Leeds United came back and squared the game, I felt like, yeah, this game is gone. They're not going to come back because, yeah, I've not seen United play better after in like both the halves of the game. But that's the he made good substitutions. He Ranić, and you were able to get one goal from Elanga, one goal from Fred. Same thing
mm.
happened in the Champions
Maguire as
League as
well.
well. Yeah, and same thing happened in the Champions League as well. So that I don't really know what's happening like in the club. I think it's more like when like somebody from the top is like mentioning that we have these big name signings. We need to have them play every game. We cannot have them sitting on the bench. When United is actually playing at home, you can't do that. So I don't really get get that point. Like
Yeah.
why United are such a poor team right now. Like they're creating tons and tons of chances. At home they play good, but they're not able to finish. They're just not able to finish. And I think it has to come down to the lack of confidence that the team has. You are able to be in the game, but but you're not able to finish the game in any way, shape, or form. And who knows, like who knows that when you get that early goal, when you get that early 5 minute, like in the first 5 minutes you get a goal, the game complexity entirely changes. You give Watford or any of the club time to grow into the game, they will gradually grow into the game, and they will probably be the winners ultimately. I think even Watford had a good chance at the end of the game. They could have actually won, like
Yeah,
basically did nothing in the game, but actually had a shot, and actually could have taken 3 points
true.
from United. So I we need to be able to start finishing teams in the first half itself. You be four up, like how you play, and then we don't care.
Yeah,
Play a dead rubber, play a dead football. I don't care, because the game's finished. I don't even want that. Players should play for the full 90 minutes and keep on attacking for the full 90, because that would just you know uh the stamina would be gone in that case, and there's no reason to do that if you're already winning. So I don't know what's the why are these things happening. I think Rangnick has been under in United, at United, almost what now, I guess 3 months,
yeah.
and players are still not able to adapt it. The only reason that I can think about is, yeah, you know what, you're going to be the director of football in the next couple of months. Why the fuck should I play for you? I don't care. There is already talks. I think John Murta already talked about publicly that they were intensively, looking for the next manager, and the talks have started to happen with the next managers for Manchester United. But that might be the only only thing that I can think of, like why the players don't want to perform. Like Rashford is shit. He is shit. Like I can't believe the level that he was performing at last season, or even you look at last couple of seasons. He was playing so well, and his levels just dropped. Fernandez was our probably player of the season for last 2 seasons, and his levels has dropped. Maybe that's because of Ronaldo, and I really felt like there was going to be some kind of partnership between Ronaldo and Fernandez when Ronaldo came to the club.
Yeah,
Ronaldo himself has not been able to do anything. But yeah. What are your
but
thoughts on that?
yeah. So I look. I just want to talk about two things. Okay. In the long run, if you've seen Liverpool, City, and United, right? Liverpool and City have been consistent in winning and showing their performances. Why not United? In order to be consistent, you need to have the same amount of effort, commitment, and dedication, which United did not show in the past 1 decade overall as a squad. Liverpool did in the past 5, 6 seasons. Liverpool have had a very consistent lineup. They have had starting 11 players. We already know who's going to play. With United, you guys this season, you guys have probably established. You've gotten a new name, new signings, new players. So now your starting 11 is sort of established in a way, but still we are still stuck at the centre midfield position. Is Pogba going to play? Is McTominay or Fred going to play? Is Matic going to play? Like, you need to the squad sheet should fans should know already who's going to be playing this match. Like Liverpool
Yeah,
fans
yeah,
and City
yeah,
fans know
yeah.
that these players are going to play this match because they're consistent. So you guys need to you lack coordination, chemistry, and this needs to show in the long run. Ragnick as the manager is good. I don't know if he's amazing or whatever he is, but he's good and he's proven it with the tactics that we see now from United now. He's trying his best to make them play well, but you need to induce a lot of youth, a lot of sparkiness, a lot of players like Luis Diaz. You should be signing such players. Why would you want to get back to those club legends and all those people? I mean, that's absurd. So
Yeah,
you, yeah,
it's weird, but yeah, let's just end the chat. But last question on City as well. I just wanted to like touch on City as well. I think we all know, like, City is City. Like, you can't really tell them, like, even though they've been a little bit you know uh, okayish in the last few games, and
yeah,
they've dropped a few points. But you can easily say that they can go on those Liverpool and City both, but talking specifically about City, they can go on those runs in the last few games where none of them drop points, and this might be just the start, because now Pep knows Liverpool's just on their back, and he just needs to win every game, and he'll do it. He will do it. Like, that 3 point gap will always remain until the end of the season, because neither of the players actually drop points, right? So it might just be, but also City have had problems. City are, you can see that against Tottenham, against Everton, when teams held back, they're not able to easily break them. They got a
Yeah,
really lucky opportunity against Everton, and they were able to get the one.
definitely.
Otherwise, that game was actually going for a nil draw. To be
True.
honest, yeah,
True. So I think, yeah, I think you've like rightly mentioned the goals that they've scored of both these teams. I think, but I would like to congratulate Frank Lampard and Conte for that matter because of the positioning that their players had. The tactics were on point throughout the game. Tottenham were again masters of the game, man. Like Tottenham gave them their own medicine. So it's just like it was very uncertain coming from Tottenham, but they should have scored more goals. Like we've already discussed that Harry Kane would have scored more goals easily. It's the positions, the right people were there at the right time, and it's not difficult to break down a team like City to be honest. But it's just that your players need to be their best on that day. And when teams face City, they're very nervy. They have this uncertainty in their heads because
there
they
needs
know
to be there needs to be cohesion within the
there
team.
needs to be a lot of
Yeah,
a strong mentality and a lot of cohesion
yeah.
within the opponents,
Mhm.
whoever's opposing City, because City are an established team and we know they're going to
Yeah,
play well anyways.
yeah,
So that mentality was shown by Everton and even by Tottenham for that matter. But yeah, Everton, hard luck. They should have gotten that penalty. Rodri was totally at fault. And I think the FA did given after the game when Frank Lampard did raise this concern. He appealed against this, and yeah, they apologized to him and the club. So
yeah,
I think uh, big things are coming for Everton as well. Maybe they might
yeah.
just
I
be
mean,
in the top eight, top nine. We
yeah,
don't know that, but yeah, City for that matter, they are definitely being chased by Jurgen's Liverpool, so they should be a little wary of what is yet to come.
yeah, yeah. They had the opportunity, I think, to sign a good striker in the summer, and they didn't. And these all these performances where you see City just edging out games. Trust me, if Harry Kane was their priority and not Jack Grealish, they would have wrapped up the wrapped up the title race by now. I think they would have
For sure.
easily been at least 15 to 16 points ahead. And we would not even sitting here and talking about a title race. But yeah, we did discuss internally, just so you guys know, our viewers, that we wanted to do a combined 11, but we ended up only with one player from United. That was Fernandez.
Yeah.
I debated a little bit that between Ederson and David De Gea. I think at the moment David De Gea is a much better keeper, but I think Uday
I think
said
Edison
Uday said
any day,
yeah,
man.
but
Any day.
Ederson. So yeah, but we don't really need to discuss anything about a combined 11 really. You can
Yeah.
post we'll just see our post on Instagram and Twitter. We'll post our combined 11 there. But yeah, there's no talk, there's no discussion, to be honest, about a combined 11 between City and United at the moment, because there's just such a vast difference between those two teams. So there is basically no discussion required. But I'll wrap this here. I know that you have to leave, but thank you so much for coming onto the show again, and I'm looking forward to another good discussion with you on the weekend once the games wrap up. I do like to let our viewers know this episode will also be available on our audio podcast. So any of your podcast streamers that you guys listen to, Apple Podcasts, Google, or Amazon, Spotify, all these major channels will be available. The episode will be available there. So yeah, do check it out over there as well if you guys have not been able to check out our YouTube channel. But yeah, are there any last words
Nothing. I think it'll be interesting to see the Manchester derby on Sunday, and also Liverpool versus West Ham will be
this
another
time?
interesting fixture. I think we are going to do watch-alongs on your channel
Both the
itself.
teams.
So looking
Yeah,
forward to that as well.
yeah, yeah. Do make sure that, so that's why I keep saying that, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe so that you know about all the stuff that's coming. But we're going to be planning a watch along for the Liverpool West Ham game and the City game as well. So yeah, we'll try to see. We'll definitely schedule that, and let you guys know if we are able to do that in the next couple of days. But yeah, uh, I'm going to be live in the next 30 to 45 minutes as well for an FPL episode. So if anyone's interested, please do join for that episode as well. We're discussing our wildcard guides. Big double game week coming up in the upcoming FPL managers. So yeah, we're definitely discussing that. But Uday, I'd like to thank you once again for coming on, and I'll see you very very soon.
See you. See you.